ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin. Teddy is still my co-host, even though he made me drop that graphics card. Ooh. And today we're checking out a gaming mouse from the guys over at Logitech. And it's the Logitech G403 Prodigy wireless gaming mouse. Now, it should be noted that you can get this in a wired or wireless version, and it's very similar in a lot of ways to the G900, which if you guys haven't watched that review, I would advise you to go back and watch that, because I really love the G900. It's probably the best gaming mouse, definitely top 3, but yeah, probably the best I've tested recently at least. It is just so good. But today we're going to be talking about the G403, so let's jump right into it. So it has the same wireless technology as the G900. So it's on the 2.4 gigahertz band, and it has a 1 ms report rate. Now, what's interesting about it is that if it starts getting low on battery, you just connect the cord up to the front, just like the G900. And then what you can do very easily is just take the cord out once it's fully charged, and then just plug it into the dongle, and then off you go. You can use it like wireless, like normal. So that's really cool. I really like that about it. Now, sensor-wise, it's coming with the same optical sensor as the G900. That's the PMW3366 sensor that goes up to 12,000 dpi. It's coming with a 1,000 hertz polling rate, RGB lighting on the scroll wheel and on the Logitech logo there, a battery life of about 24 hours with the lighting on, or around 32 hours with the lighting off. It's coming with a weight of 107 grams, which is the same as the G900. However, it does come with an additional weight, which will bring that weight up to 117 grams, a 10 gram weight. And that will make it more like medium on the weight scale compared to other gaming mice out there. So that's pretty good. I used it just at 107 and it was fine, although that is a little bit more on the light side of things. And it's also coming with a 2-year hardware warranty. Now let's talk about the looks then. So Greg from Playtech TV really nailed it. He said it looks just like the IntelliMouse Explorer 3.0, and I couldn't agree more. So it's quite the sort of classic design, I guess we could say. But I really like the look of it. It's way more subdued than the more crazy looking, out there looking G900, which isn't a bad thing. I really like the looks of the G900, but this one is much more subdued. I think this G900 was a lot to take for a lot of people out there, but I really still liked it. Now, this is a right-hand only design, whereas the G900 is actually an ambidextrous design. So yeah, people that are left-handed, yeah, sorry, you might have to go for the G900 then. So yeah, that's just something else to keep in mind. It's a lot more mild, a lot more minimalistic, just a lot more subdued is the best way to put it. So that's going to, a lot of people will like that. Personally, I still like the G900 more, but that's just my taste. Now let's move over to comfort then, and this is extremely comfortable. It's just superb in terms of comfort, and absolute joy to use. It fit my hand perfectly. I had no issues with it. It is a little bit on the light side, as I said before, but you can add in that weight if you want a bit more. And I just had no issues with it. It's definitely one of the most comfortable gaming mice I've ever used, just like the G900. And Logitech just has a really good record with making extremely comfortable gaming mice. This is really good. The 900... the 502/503s were perfect, and yeah, the only one I really had a bit of an issue with was the 302 and 303. I thought that was slightly uncomfortable for me. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really good either. It was just kind of average. But yeah, this one's really good in terms of comfort. You should have no issues at all. Now let's talk about that sensor then. So as I said before, it retains the fantastic optical sensor of the G900, and I absolutely loved it. I set it to 3200 dpi because I am using a 4K display and I like really high DPI settings, as you guys know, and it was perfect for FPS games, shooting, Overwatch, all of that. It was superb. I really liked it. I had no issues with it. It never frustrated me, and it's just one of the best sensors I have ever tested on a gaming mouse since I started doing this channel. It is that good. Really impressive. Now let's move over to the buttons and scroll wheel, and once again, it also retains the metal spring tensioning system of the G900, which I also loved. That's just in the left and right click. It's really good, gives you nice travel Nice tactile click. It's just a really nice system, and it feels perfect, and I really liked that. As far as the other buttons go, obviously it's a bit different in terms of design. The forward and back buttons on the left-hand side I thought were pretty good. I would have liked them to be a little bit smaller, but it's still pretty good, and they work just fine. Aside from that, all you have is a DPI button up on top, which you could probably program to do something else if you really wanted to. And the scroll wheel was different. So the G900 had the scroll wheel taken straight out of the G502, so that had, you know, you could have it clicky, or you could toggle it and it would just be free scrolling, you know, it would just spin. This one feels more like the one taken out the 302 or something like that. Very, very similar feeling to that. So yeah, it's just normal. There isn't the toggle there or anything, which I actually prefer, because that was one of the things I didn't like about the 502 and the 900. I know a lot of you guys out there really, really like that feature, but personally I do not. So yeah, that was something I actually thought was improved on this over the 900, is the fact that it uses a more standard scroll wheel. So that's really good too. Now, as far as additional features go, there's Logitech's gaming software, which you can use to set everything up really nice. It's a fantastic software. The one criticism I have with it is that it doesn't have any like UI scaling. So if you're using a 4K display like me, it's actually quite tiny. So I wish they would maybe improve that in the future. And that brings us now to the conclusion. And what do I make of the Logitech G403 Prodigy wireless gaming mouse? So let's talk about pricing then. So in New Zealand right now, over at Playtech, the wireless version of the 403 is going for 150 New Zealand dollars. The wired version is going for $99, and the G900 is going for $200. So you've got quite a bit of choice there. Now I'll say that I think the G403 is fantastic, just like the G900. Personally, I would say the G900 is still better than the 403, but it's quite close. Given that, if it was me spending my money, I would probably say, think about how much, do you really need the wireless? If you do not, and it's of no concern to you, then obviously just go for the G403 wired. Save yourself a bit of money and have a fantastic gaming mouse. Honestly, just superb. If it is something that appeals to you or something you do want, I would say think very, very carefully about the 403 or the 900, because personally I would still spend that $50 extra to get the G900 over the G403. But that's just me personally. Now, if you're in Europe or in America or anything else, have a look. If there's a very small pricing difference between the wireless G403 and the G900, just go for the G900. Honestly, I think it's worth the extra money. However, if there's a big price difference between it, and you're going to have to weigh that for yourself, then I would say just go for the G403. This reminds me of what SteelSeries did a while ago with the Sensei, and then they had the Sensei Raw, which is a lot of the best features of the Sensei with just a few bits trimmed down. And that's basically what this is compared to the G900. So yeah, that's basically how I would put it. It is really, really good, but personally in New Zealand, I would go for the G900 or just the wired version. But if where you live, there is a much bigger discrepancy in terms of price, then just go with this guy, because it's going to do you really, really well. And especially if you're a person that doesn't want the G900's crazy looks and wants something a bit more subdued, then hey, go for the G403 wireless. This is an absolutely superb gaming mouse. Now, I thank you all for watching this video. Please subscribe to Tech Showdown if you haven't already, and like the video. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.